she was doing, and that's why she got
Correct.
accepted.
We're here.
Yep.
And, who else? I can't see the name, like.
Todd is supposed to be here, right?
Yes.
And Mike?
My eye test.
Going backwards?
And Mike, is Mike coming?
No, he cannot. Nancy cannot.
Good.
So much so far.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Come check tomorrow.
Do we have four?
Should be nice.
This one, we just want to.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay,
Good.
we want to welcome everyone to the July 14th meeting of the Metroplex Board of Directors. We're very pleased to be back live and in person. Great to see everybody. Been a little rainy of late, but considering the last year, it's great to see be live and in person at our meeting. First item tonight is the approval of the minutes of the June 9th meeting. We're in a rush tonight. I have a motion, and a second. Brad, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is the treasurer's report.
So, our total income is, $4,299,824. We are above budget, which is incredible. So, thank you to staff for keeping an eye on on everything. Our cash and equivalents are at $4,578,731. Our available balance for pre-development is at $221,760. And we have projects moving forward and go back on track with a lot of things. So I'd like to thank the staff for coming out of this pandemic. It's been really challenging. They've done a good job with your audit and everything else. So thank you to staff, Maureen, Jamie,
Thank you.
Dave,
Right.
David, everybody.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Brad, second. Bob, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. We have a number of exciting projects and resolutions that we're going to ask you to consider tonight. The first one deals with our business improvement district downtown, the Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation. I'll ask James to give us an update.
This is our annual support for the DSIC. Last year, we funded at $275,000, and one of the consequences of that is that it's really strung out well into this year. Normally, we see this application coming in February or maybe even in March. So we're trying to get things kind of balanced out with them and get a little bit more in sync with their normal budget schedule, which is at the end of the year. They're on a calendar year budget. So what the proposal for the Fix Up Cleanup program for the rest of the year would be a $120,000 grant. So that's $20,000 a month for the last 6 months of the year, plus a $125,000 grant for equipment replacement or the need of a new Bobcat truck. There may be a few other things. So we'd like to help them out with making sure they have the right equipment. As you know, they put up the flower baskets every year, the banners, plantings all over the downtown. They take care of Gateway Plaza and the entertainment that takes place there, and Christmas decorations. They're having a little trouble on the hiring side with getting some people to do some of the work, but otherwise they're doing a good job with the trash and litter pickup around the downtown.
So I need a motion and a second on that, Sharon, second by Karen. Any discussion? It's our annual item. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did you want to say something, Karen?
No, I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to compliment, they do a great job, and I'm glad we'll continue this work.
Great.
Thank you.
It's amazing you keep the plants alive.
Yeah, it's been-
They do a good job.
I water mine every day, and theirs always look better than mine. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Next up, we go to Rotterdam with a project at the corner of Altamont and Corey Road. I'm going to ask Jamie to give us an update.
Yeah, this is at the location of the Farmer Recovery Room on Altamont Avenue. This project came to the board in March of 2020, I think it was. And then because of the pandemic, the project was on hold and then canceled, and now it's kind of revisited again. So we're coming back in with a slightly smaller total project cost of $1,087,000. This is Columbia Development Companies. They're looking to bring in community care physicians. So they're going to reorient that old recovery room space into a healthcare medical facility. Community care physicians, very large, all over the Capital District. We would be providing them with an exemption on the sales tax for the renovation that's going on and a pilot. So we're kind of bringing this back from where we were a year and a half ago with respect to seeker. It's a type 2 action, and the project would get started probably in the next 30 days, be done by the end of the year.
Have a motion on this? Karen, second?
I
Just let somebody just get the second. Thank you, yeah.
didn't realize the recovery room closed. I thought it was
Yeah.
temporarily. I didn't realize it was permanent closed. Wow.
Let me just make some comments. Again, this was the famous, I love this visual, kind of cute, Capitol Plaza.
I remember
I
that.
remember that. It was at the corner of Curry Road and Altamont, one of the busiest corners in the county. We worked with DBL to knock this thing down. They created a Berkshire Bank branch and a recovery room. That recovery room had a really good run there. But as it happens in that business, there are cycles. So they're pivoting to healthcare, which is interesting because across the street, the Malozzi Banquet House has been turned into, with our support, adult daycare. And down the street, there's a new well now. So it's kind of becoming a little health corridor. DBL's a great contractor. They're more than capable. This is a simple sales tax exemption. It's a good pilot. We're getting like $350 a foot on taxes. It just repurposes the recovery road and keeps the progress going on that corner. That's just very visible. That place was just horrible, for many years. So we ask for your support. Happy to answer any questions. Good project, I think. Good, capable. Good. Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
What are they gonna put in the recovery room side?
Medical, community, what's the name of it's the one,
Community care physician.
community care, they're like the biggest, medical group.
Are they gonna have physicians' offices there?
Yes, yes. It's not an urgent care, it's gonna be an office.
Okay.
Medical office. Medical arts, yeah. Yep. Okay, we're ready to move on, thank you. Move on to get back into downtown and talk about a really exciting project at 500 State Street.
This is a Redburn Partners development project. 500 State Street is the Bank of America building, as you know, right here on State Street in downtown Schenectady. Today, there's two actions before the board. One is to hold a public hearing on the project. The second is for Metroplex to become the lead agency for the environmental review. It's a scale of the project, makes it a type 1 project located close to the Foster Building, Proctor's Theater. So its proximity to these historic places requires us to do a more thorough review. So we're going to need to reach out to the local agencies and several state agencies to become the lead agency. And so we would come back for a final approval probably in September. But it's a pretty cool project in that it's a renovation of the Bank of America building, converted into a multi-use commercial space. Big building, about 60,000 square feet, $12.5 million project. Redburn, as you know, has done a great job on a variety of existing buildings downtown. They do want to get a historic designation for this project to take advantage of historic tax credits. They've also lined up opportunity zone investors. So they're really putting together quite a package to redevelop Bank of America building, the property behind it for some additional parking, and they'll be attracting a series of tenants into this facility during the year. We'll have more details on it when we come back in a few months.
Motion on this? Karen, second by Karen. Let me just make a couple comments if I can. This is a very significant building. It plays off our success in redeveloping the Foster building, which is just a tremendous success with the nest and the retail and the apartments. This is really a huge dead building downtown. It's just 60,000 square feet. It's got a small bank branch. The rest of it's vacant. We had out-of-town owners who just sat on the building. We got Redburn in the driver's seat now, one of the hottest, most progressive developers in the state, taking this building and converting it. And what's so exciting is you look at the picture in the rear, you have the former OTB headquarters, which is underway. And across the street at 500 State, you have another Redburn project, the new building going up. So it's just, it takes that whole corridor. We thank the state because this project is receiving funding from the DRI, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. It's just a great project. Builds on the momentum of the Foster block, major signature building, and it's going to be a historic renovation project. So we're really excited to move this forward. And we really thank the folks at Redburn. They were just in our office. What a track record they have developed in Schenectady, former Gazette Press building. They told us there's only one apartment left. It's completely leased up other than that. They did Foster, they did the former Turkish and Powell building, they're doing the OTB building. Just a great track record, so happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. It's my understanding that Ortho, New York.
We have not identified the tenants of the building at this point.
Well,
For
I heard information, so I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, well,
Okay, so-
they did not want to disclose the tenants at this time.
Okay.
But the goal is to use the building for medical arts.
Okay, well, all right, let me say what I'm going to say in a little different terms.
If you want to discuss something related to a particular tenant,
No.
and we could go into executive session, I would prefer, but otherwise.
Can I, a global look at what I'm
Sure.
hearing? Okay, global look at what I'm hearing is, we have projected Ellis Hospital becoming a medical center with all the things that are going on there and changing their brand. We also recognize the fact that with this project and others, that Schenectady looks like it's going to become a rather significant medical city that we have not been in the past. And there sounds like there's going to be significant development in that downtown corridor. Does that include Franklin Street? Or is it just, which, is that Franklin Street?
No, this is the company you referred to, which will go nameless, is currently located on Franklin.
Okay,
No, off of Franklin on Liberty and Franklin, between Liberty and Franklin, you can say. But this is at the corner of State and Clinton. It's a very significant building. And there's, as you're right, and it's not just medical, when Schenectady was distressed, nothing was happening, a lot of the professional class left. Lawyers left, engineers left, medical left. It was a very distressed situation. We're seeing, at all these meetings, engineering firm. We did the upstate dermatology project on Broadway, next, close to Bill and Talia there. That project is wrapping up now. So we're seeing medical groups, like you said, Neil, I completely agree with you, coming back into the downtown area. Lawyers coming back, engineering firms coming back, wanting to be part of the action, if you will. So it's a very significant trend. And this project is the biggest one yet, in downtown, it has 60,000 square feet. The upstate dermatology was about 15 or 20, I believe. 20, yeah. So this is a big building. So we thank Redburn. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call the question on, we have two resolutions, right? So we're on the first one now, which is to hold the public hearing and take related actions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed? And then we need a motion and a second on the seeker.
So moved.
Thank you, Karen. Second by Sharon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Next, we go to Albany Street, talk about a very exciting project at for the Charles Birch Supply Company.
Right, Charles Birch Supply Company, plumbing and heating and other supplies and equipment. Company's been around for 125 or 30 years or so. Long time. They own a piece of property that extends from State Street to Albany Street. They're right next door to Mohawk Honda. Their existing facility's been around for a while, but I think this speaks to the revitalization that's occurring further up State Street and on Albany Street, that now they're looking to invest close to $500,000, construct a new 4,200 square foot showroom addition to their existing facility. You'll see from the schematic in the project plan, redo the front facade on Albany Street. So it would give them more showroom space, and it gives them an opportunity to better connect with parking for their customers. They're a big supplier for everyone from general contractors to residential fixer-uppers, which I would not include myself in that. And there's two actions before you today. One is the seeker resolution, a negative declaration, now that we've reviewed the project. And the second is approving a $95,000 renovation and facade grant and providing with a sales tax exemption.
Have a motion on this?
So moved.
Second by Karen. Just want to thank this company. They stuck it out. Have a great history in Schenectady. One of the folks was one of the first women plumbers in the state. One of the grandfathers, ran the draft war in Schenectady during World War II. It's just, talk about that. That was a pressure-filled job. But we cleared a site with the land bank, and took down some really horrible vacant buildings. We got rid of this tractor trailer that had thousands of tires that was just parked there. I think someone abandoned it. And it was there for years. And really cleaned up and prepped this site with the hope that this company would expand. And they're moving ahead. This was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals last week, and it's on the Planning Commission agenda tonight. So we're hoping it gets final approval tonight, and this project, with our approval, can move forward to the construction phase. It's very significant. As you go up Albany, you see a lot of activity now, and this one is very significant. Yes.
These pictures are gorgeous. Are they adding a floor? Is this addition going to be 2 floors, or is this just a one floor? It's one floor. It's very dramatic. It looks
It's
gorgeous.
bigger than 11,000 square feet.
Yeah,
Size.
it does.
Does.
Should this right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I double checked it because actually I was looking at Google Maps, and it's a pretty substantial building on that site.
Oh, it's bigger than 11,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not, because the project budget is $500,000, so you wouldn't be building. JT probably took some professional liberties here, the architect, but really did a nice job, and we're hoping this gets approved tonight at the Planning Commission.
Looks great. Great project.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question. We have two on this as well.
Seeker first.
Seeker first. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I need a motion on the adopt the general fund plans. Aaron, seconded by Sharon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we go to Crane Street.
So we have a series of projects here. I'll just explain them all because they're all very similar. We've had a couple of projects similar to these in the past, and really what it is connecting with our local housing not-for-profit group, BCNI, and they've secured a New York Main Street grant, and those grants are used for facade improvements and for particular types of properties, for these properties that are commercial or retail on the ground floor, residential on the second floor. We're going to end up doing 9 or 10 of these. They will end up doing 9 or 10 of these projects with the grant money that they have from New York State. So there's 3 of them here. The one's at 727 Crane Street. The next one's at 815 Crane Street. The third one's at 935 Crane Street. And then Metroplex is just providing a small matching grant to the monies that are going in from the New York State Main Street grant. So on the first one for 727, it's $15,000. On 815, it's $25,000. On the third one, it's $50,000. So it's a great assistance targeting to specific types of buildings. Crane Street is getting more attention. I think it all started with the library branch that the county put up, and slow but sure we're making progress and kind of working our way on a couple of key blocks of Crane Street. I'm sure I have more to say on that. And SRG Architects is the architect on all of these projects, and we're working with BCNI. They want to move very quickly on this. I had a discussion with them today about it, so looking to get the approval on these 3 separate
Can we move all
projects.
3 of these as one? Or
We
no?
can.
Okay, we're gonna have a motion on this. Sharon, second by Karen. I want to thank David for all his hard work on these projects. Again, it's like the Foster Block, we got the bank project. The library, when we went after Chubby's Pizza and condemned it, built the library branch, Neil was involved, Sharon, major role. We're adding to the momentum up there, doing these commercial storefronts, the Boys and Girls Club got built. Wallington Park is getting a splash pad. The other park, the name escapes me, I'm sorry, Orchard Park is getting upgrades.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a momentum business, and now you're seeing the commercial property owners starting to make investments with some assistance. This Main Street grant from the state is pivotal. We've got to turn the tide. We still have a lot more work to do, but it is a proven approach that we've taken on these commercial corridors, and we're getting a lot of involvement and support from the merchants themselves. They need, so working on these programs that promote their own business district. So we're excited about moving these forward. Happy to answer any questions.
I just have a comment. I've been in a lot of those meetings with discussions around Main Street grant. And David has done a phenomenal job bringing all of these property owners along.
Yeah.
Some of them have no idea what they're doing, and David has held their hand the entire way. So he kind of really commend him and his efforts that he's done. It's a great project. I'm so glad to see this one going forward. The pandemic kind of put a shutdown on everything, so this is great news. So I'm very, very appreciative.
Excellent. Any other comments? Sharon?
It's just so important for us to move this through, and I'm glad to see that they're really pushing that grant, because it's a fairly old grant. And
Yeah.
we need to complete it.
Yes.
And I'd just like to say that the other part of it is the bridge that goes from Hamilton Hill to Mount Pleasant.
Right.
And we just received monies from Congressman Tonko, pledge that he will be putting money into that bridge, and that is all part of that comprehensive plan that we've been working on.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a big article in the Times Union this evening online about the project, the road project that Congressman Tonko was able to fund. That's pivotal. There's another building block in the neighborhood. Again, admittedly, we still have a ton of work to do.
Yeah, we do.
A ton of work to do, but who would have thought that the old St. Columbus School would come back? Who would have thought that the old Horace Mann School would come back? Who would have thought that we'd build a new high-rise out of Albany?
And
just
Boys and Girls Club.
The new Boys and Girls Club, and the library, and the park, and the splash pad. I mean, these are investments that have been made in this neighborhood in decades. So we got to keep moving forward. So we'll move all 3 of these, and thank David for his help. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we come back downtown. It's a busy agenda tonight. Talk about head safety and crosswalk improvements and making J Street in front of the post office 2 ways, which is on my Christmas list for many years. So.
Dreams do come true. This is a project we've been working with the city of Schenectady and the city engineer, Chris Wallen, for quite a while now. The city was able to secure state grant for pedestrian safety improvements. We've been working with them, as Ray mentioned, also to convert J Street in front of the post office into to two-way, got the city to approve that, and we're moving ahead with it. You'll see from the schematic drawing, you can see what's going on. Most of this takes place around City Hall, and the idea that the streets there are so wide on J Street, on Franklin Street, and it's so difficult to move around. Ray's been talking about these crosswalk improvements from the library to J Street. I think almost as the day's arrived, so we're finally getting around to making all these improvements with a lot of state money. We're sharing the matching money with the city, so our contribution would be $300,000 on this. And so these are, you can see it's a design where we try to narrow the intersections so that it's easier for people to cross, and then all the signals will be changed, which that's probably 50 years overdue as it is. And as well as putting in new pedestrian signalization, so it's much easier for people to press a button, cross the streets more easily and more safely. It's a surprising number of accidents that do take place, and it has the support of the city and the police department, and we would look to get this project going later this year.
A motion on this?
So moved.
Neil, second by Sharon, thank you. Again, this is the beginning of the J Connector that has received so much attention at DRI. Coming out of the pedestrian J, go in front of City Hall, two-way in front of the post office, through Little Italy, reconnect to Knott Street, reconnecting that, and having this very attractive corridor that links the Proctor's Block with Log Harbor.
Does that go to Maxim Road?
Yeah, connects to Knott and then up Maxim. So you can cross the casino through.
Maybe show us on that next time, how that looks.
Yeah, we've shown that one, yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's, you then connect with the harbor through the Alco Tunnel Trail, and Little Italy, you connect at Knott Street again, and you connect at Maxim Road, right there at the new. So you have three crossings. It's very significant. These one-way streets in the heart of downtown just don't cut. And this one in front of the post office, you couldn't get. I've literally seen people stop me in front of Proctor's with tears in their eyes, saying, "How do I get to Cornell's?" Cornell's, and again, it's fantastic news that Breakfast has purchased Cornell's. Literally could not find a way to get there because of the one-way streets. So we're very excited about this. Chris Wallen is doing a spectacular job as a city engineer. He's one of the most talented people we've met in my career, and he's over $100 million, I believe, in grants that he's won for the city easily. And this is a big one, and we're happy to provide some of the match. So we're really excited to move this forward. It's something that I've been hoping to happen for a long time.
Any chance we could get him to do the street right next to Ellis Hospital, where Mosa Road runs into that area where the ambulances come and the
Yes.
side of the road is in
That's
such
something
great
you should
shape.
talk to the city about.
5 years I've been talking.
Yeah.
It's great to
Get
get
better
some-
hearing me.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Can you just give me an approximate time frame on this?
Good question.
So the work will start later this year. It still has to go out to bid, so we're expecting it'll start some preliminary work. Most of it will take place starting next spring. Yeah.
And how long? do you think?
I think it's a couple of months. I think the biggest issue with the project is the two-way J part of it, because that does require a lot of public communication, and there's the engineers have this whole protocol that they go through, so people aren't running into each other, obviously. But the streets there will be some mill and paving that get done, as well as all the new markings that will have to take place. I would say we're probably a year away before it all will be
So do
completed.
you think it'll be done by the end of 2022?
Oh, sure,
You do?
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
yeah.
And again, one of the reasons we're successful winning these grants is that Metroplex is able to pay for some of the preliminary design.
Yes.
Yeah, so we created, unless I'm incorrect, Jamie, we did
No,
a
that's
lot of
right.
preliminary work,
Yeah.
which then shows the state that the project is shovel ready, and that we have our act together, and it's not just a pipe dream, that we actually have a plan and renderings and pictures, that demonstrate that it's a viable project, and then we're able to win these large grants. So it's a good
The
leverage.
goal is really to try not to interfere with the green market next year. So obviously, that's like starts in April or May.
In
So
April.
I'm not sure how that quite is gonna work, but we're very cognizant of really trying to make sure that we don't interfere and that can just move right in. But that's a whole timing thing, yeah.
Well, and they may,
The logistics
they
of
may,
it.
maybe you might, they might move it to June.
Right.
If that
Right.
were-
Well, the other thing, Sharon, this builds off the library. The library is very
Yes.
popular, and, I know it used to be 400,000 visitors a year. It's one of the most visited things downtown, and it's not easy to go from the library to J Street, for example.
Right.
This is gonna make that happen. So this has been on the drawing board for a long
And
time.
I think that the library is looking great, and I hope you've been by
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah.
The flowers.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Thank you for all your work on that. Okay, we're ready to move on, right? We have to vote on it?
We haven't had the vote.
We haven't had the vote, so we should have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Because it's a city project, yeah. Next, we go to Glenville, to fill a vacant building on Freeman's Ridge Road, and ask you to summarize.
Right, so the next two items are, again, are kind of related projects. I'll start with the first one, which is the renovation of 53 Freeman's Bridge Road. The project, the site of this property is right next to Sarnowski Drive, which we all know for driving over to Trusco headquarters. And so this has been purchased by Ryan Lucy and John Daly. The business has been vacant for a short time, but I knew it mostly as a pet shop that had been there for a very long time. But it's going to get got rehab, a complete new facade. Again, the drawing shows quite a different change and really modernize this building. And then the big news is attracting Rad Soap Company, relocating from Manans, and they will make this their headquarters. They have a retail shop in Stuyvesant Plaza. So we have two different things that are going on. To the owners, we're providing a $50,000 facade grant to really spruce up as part of their $800,000 investment in the project. The second part of this is the Rad Soap headquarters with a $95,000 grant for their leasehold improvements and fit up so that they can move in fairly soon with their new headquarters and really get their business up and running.
Great. Or want to get a motion on this, Bob? Do you want to take that from Glenville?
Yes.
I know this is very consistent with the town's plans to improve that Freeman's Bridge corridor, so we're happy to move this forward. Second, you need a second?
Is this property on
Any-
this side?
Before we
of
get
the
a
bridge?
second? Second, thank you. We can have discussion?
Is this property on this side of the bridge or the other side?
The Glenville side.
The Glenville side.
It's on the left side, it's vacant. And I want to thank David again for his work on this project. We do not contact companies in the area and ask them to move to Schenectady. When companies are growing and are looking for space and are out looking at buildings, we're very aggressive. They contact us. And, or we learn about their, interest in an expansion. We are very aggressive, and we're happy to bring Rad Soap over. They have a great product. Check out their store at Stuyvesant Plaza. They also have a very, very good partnership with Pine Industries in Glenville. That helps a lot of folks, that they use those folks for packaging and order fulfillment. And so it's a good project for Glenville and for the county. We're very excited about it. Again, I want to thank David, he worked very hard on this. Any other questions? All right, can we move both of these together, Jamie?
Sure.
We need a motion, we have a motion in a second, right?
Second, yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Thank you.
Next, thank you, we go to downtown fix up.
We're looking to have $150,000 allocated towards a program for downtown fix-up, as we like to call it. So to fix up concrete and sidewalks, it's basically a curb-to building type of program. We've done this a few times in the past, sometimes using bond money. This would be the first time since 2019. I was having a conversation with someone the other day and talking about between the, downtown just kind of coming back to life and all the rain that we've had, which has created a lot of weeds and stuff all over the place, that the downtown really doesn't look quite as sharp as we would like it to be. So we would identify a series of projects where we're fixing up some of the sidewalks. We would fix the bollards that have been run into by cars, do some painting, just freshen things up in the downtown corridor. A lot of it's on State Street, but now that the really our central business district keeps expanding, we go down Broadway, we look over at Union. So we're identifying a series of projects, and 150,000 is a fairly modest amount to go ahead and do some additional cleanup and sprucing up in the downtown that we would like to get done by early fall.
Need a motion and a second on this? Sharon, need a second? Karen, discussion? I think it's a great thing. We need to keep downtown as a chart.
So needed, so needed, and so important, it really is.
Any other comments? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Last item tonight is a effort to continue the momentum that we built in getting motion pictures and television programs filmed in Schenectady County and actually even summarized.
Yeah, Ray will probably tell you a lot more about this because he spends a remarkable amount of time kind of dealing with the emerging film industry here. So we do get these inquiries from producers involved with film and commercials and other types of productions. We're looking to support Film Schenectady, which is our local film commission, to really help with kind of boosting their capacity to address these things. We're not really set up to, if somebody's looking for an apartment building where they can do a shoot, we're not the best, I think, to go through some of that. Ray does a fantastic job, but they do have a 10-member board that's appointed by the city that are working very hard and have had some success with bringing in some movies and some series to downtown Schenectady. The Film Schenectady Commission really operates through Discover Schenectady, the Tourism Bureau. So our grant would funnel through Discover Schenectady, and again, support the kind of emerging film business and production going on in Schenectady.
Have a motion and a second on this? Aaron? Second, Bob. Again, we had Amazon Modern Love Season 2 filmed here. The city was fantastic. We had 100 crew here. The height of the pandemic, it was a godsend during the pandemic for the hotels. That series is going to premiere on August 13th, so we expect to get some good follow-up press. What was so exciting about that, they shot the street shots here, which they do in Troy, Albany all the time, and we've done that many times as well, and that's very significant. But what's even more significant is they actually filmed the interior shots at the Armory, which is now been set up as a sound stage. It doesn't get much better than Amazon Studios. We need the film commission that has been appointed by the city has great energy. There's this woman named Donna Purnell who comes out of that industry. I've been on site visits with her. She's an absolute pro. She knows this industry extremely well. She is out recruiting projects for Schenectady every day, and we need to get this set. We need to fill the Armory again. We had a major win, which we supported. As you remember, this board supported with a small grant to help the Armory land that production. It paid back many dividends. So we need to keep the energy going. This is something that every economic development group in the country now is chasing film and TV. It's coming up the Hudson Valley very fast, and the fact that we have the Armory is just spectacular. So we want to keep it rolling, pun intended, and this is a modest grant to help that effort along. Happy to answer any questions.
So moved.
Good, good. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're good. Anything from the board? Otherwise, we take a motion to adjourn.
I just want to, it's okay.
Sure.
Everyone.
Sandy?
I want to really commend Discover Schenectady. We had a major tennis tournament in Central Park last weekend, or the weekend before. They were supposed to play at West Point, and they couldn't play at West Point because West Point was not opening up until after their tournament was over. I think it was opening on the 10th, so it was the weekend before that. Discover Schenectady got them hotel rooms, got them everything they needed. They turned everything, and moving a tournament the size of that on a dime. I cannot say enough good things about Discover Schenectady. They did a phenomenal job in assisting the director had to have, there were 100 high school girls from across the country that had to change reservations and come to Schenectady. They had, we have 17 courts in Central Park, which was able to accommodate the entire thing. It was a 64 round. They had college coaches from across the country here. And it was a bright light that shined on Schenectady, and it was a phenomenal tournament that they had. So I can't say enough great things about, Discover Schenectady.
The new director, Tiger Fowler, is a good guy. He's
Yeah,
bright.
I'm
He's got
telling you,
good
he did a
background.
great
He's got
job.
good marketing background, so.
And again, it was the top 100 tennis players.
If you went over there and watched these young women play, you would think you were at a professional
And
tournament.
the top coaches and everybody else.
Yeah,
Right.
from across.
And again, it was huge for the hotels.
It was.
So we're still seeing recovery in the hotel sector. We need room nights.
Yeah, so, and I just want to compliment Discover Schenectady, they did a really good job.
And we're working closely with Donna for several projects right now. Any other comments?
I have one quick one. I got a call from our attorneys, just kind of reminding me that now that all the executive orders having to do with COVID have expired, and we're back to meeting in person, but their reminder was that while we live stream all of our meetings on WebEx, that board members attending by either phone or on Zoom or WebEx can't vote. So you have to be here in person to vote or to count as a member of each meeting. So just wanted to let you know, they reminded me that the rules have tightened quite a bit. It was great having WebEx, for the last year or so, help with attendance and everything, but the rules have changed again, so just wanted to let you know.
We're not meeting in August, but we will meet the second Wednesday of September. Paul, thanks for listening in. And I know it's hard sometimes you to get over from Albany due to your responsibilities over there, so thank you for listening in and participating by phone tonight. Any comments from the board, anything else? Yes, Paul? Do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Sarah, second by Neil. Thank you. See
Thank
you
you,
in
everyone.
September, and we'll be
Thanks,
patient
Bob.
between now and then.
Period.
Get over to the, your line, yeah, because you gotta help us with that.
Do you have a sense that there, I mean,
It should be good. They got the BZA last month.
Take care, good night.
Well,
I